This little simple microphone that sits in front of me and has sat in front of me almost every day since I was 13, 14 years old, has been my best friend in ways, because you don't understand how important you are in my life. I feel like I know you, and when I meet people, they say, it's like you're my best friend. It's like an old friend that we've been together for years. And you have me at a disadvantage because you know everything about my life. If you're a longtime listener, you know the names of my children. You remember when I adopted my son. You know my dog's name. And I know nothing about you, it seems. But that's not true. I know you because I know your values. We're like-minded. And honestly, we are just searching for those things that are true, those things that bring happiness, those things that bring meaning. I've lived a life of no meaning. I lived a life where I was worshiping the gods of America, fortune, fame, and it was meaningless and empty, and I drank my way through it. My mother, when she died, I was 15 years old, she committed suicide. She was an alcoholic. She was addicted to prescription drugs. In a time when nobody ever talked about that. And I hit a place in my life where I was about to do the same thing. And luckily, I was, quite honestly, too much of a coward to do it. Thank God for cowardice, at least in that example. I didn't know how to live. I just knew that death was in front of me. If I continued down this road, it would mean death. I would either drink myself to death, drug myself to death, or I'd kill myself because there was just nothing in my future. And I couldn't find happiness. It seemed as though all truth was nothing more than a lie. It's amazing how insidious darkness is. It's amazing how it can play on you. It's amazing how distracted you can become. I just looked up at my monitors here in my studio, and I see the headlines. Trump facing 30 counts related to business fraud. And they're speaking about it on CNN. Trump indictment stuns nation, says Fox News. Donald Trump indicted, says MSNBC. And Senator Warren is on CNBC. We need to hold those failed bank CEOs accountable. Do you remember the movie The Ten Commandments? Do you remember they were free? People were free. God freed them. And then the minute they were at the Red Sea, you remember Edward G. Robinson, and he He's like, yeah, see, I told you this was bad, see? Where's your Moses now? And he immediately stands up and says, see, this guy led you to death. And Moses, I can't even begin to understand. I mean, Charlton Heston said, behold the hand of God. That's not really what happened. He didn't stand there on that cliff. He went down to the water, had to walk into the water first. His back was up against a wall. He had to take the step and stand in the water. And while the people were condemning him, God moved because of his faith. And then as soon as they get across the water, he goes up to the mountain and he gets the 10 Commandments. I mean, it took 40 days, and they were like, we've got to have orgies, and we have to build a golden calf. Good God. Never G. Robinson, I'll be your leader, see? They worshiped the things their hands had made. How many of us are worshiping the things our hands have made? How many of us are looking at our phone all the time? Technology has now become our God. Money has become our God. I'm here in Dallas in soundproof studios, and I just heard the thunder outside. How appropriate. Today is a turning point. Today, this microphone in front of me, a device that I've had in front of me for almost 50 years, is unforgiving. There's a lot inside of me today. And I am no different than you. I've had enough. I've had enough. I don't know about you, but I've been watching this slow motion car wreck, this train headed towards us for 20 years. We've been crossing the Atlantic in very slow motion, and the engines were on full speed, and the captain at night is like, keep those engines going. Let's make record time. We can do it. And when the ship was in port, it was on fire. There was a coal fire down at the furnaces, and it wasn't in the furnace. It was the coal pile that was on fire. Well, then burn it up fast. We can make it. This ship is unsinkable. And I've had 20 years to count the lifeboats. I've had 20 years telling people, hey, maybe you shouldn't be playing shuffleboard right now. there's trouble. Anybody want to send a Western Union telegraph maybe early when all the other ships have their telegraphs on? We are at the iceberg. And the reason why this is happening to Donald Trump is because they need you. They need you to riot, to burn, to shoot, to target. They need that because everything is about to collapse, and it can't be blamed on them because they're the ones who are going to say to the rest of the world, see, this is what happens. This is what happens when you let free people be free. That's why we've got to put a lid on it. Instead of the rest of the world looking at the elites, all those with answers, and say, look what you have done. You have collapsed our economy. You and your expert advice have devalued the dollar. You and your experts have taken the greatest nation to ever bless the earth and flush it down the toilet. We are no longer a superpower. And they need you for cover. Pray for your country like you've never prayed before. Pray that every single American that sits behind one of these today understands the gravity of their words. Lord, may you humble all of us in these days. I'd prefer, kind of a gentle reminder, but if it takes, behold the hand of God, we will take that as well. But humble us, Lord. May we turn back to you.